Okay. We'll get started as soon as there might be a few more people trickling in, but just want to be mindful of everyone's time. Good afternoon and welcome everyone. My name is Carla Benia and I want to thank you for joining us today on World Water Day as we observe an important day and learn from our colleagues at Habitat for Humanity Haiti on some of the important work that has been done in Simon-Pelé. Before we begin, I am going to quickly go through a few housekeeping items, so bear with me before we kick things off. This session is being recorded and it will be posted on our Habitat Canada website later this week. All attendee lines have been muted. However, on the Zoom meeting platform, you can unmute yourself at any time. We do ask that you stay muted throughout the presentation in order to avoid any sound interference. If you're not using your computer audio to join this webinar, please turn off your computer speakers and microphones. This will help us avoid any sound feedback. You are more than welcome to turn on your video if you would like. It's always nice to see some friendly faces. And you can do this by clicking on the video camera found on the bottom of your Zoom dash menu. If you would like to see who else has joined the session, on the top right-hand corner, you will see a display option for your screen view. The automatic default is sometimes speaker view, but you can also click gallery view. At the end of this session, there will be an opportunity for Q&A, but if you have any questions throughout the presentation, please feel free to use the chat function found at the bottom of your Zoom dash menu, and we will address your questions at the end. Alternatively, you are more than welcome to ask your questions verbally at the end as well. Should you have any technical difficulties during the webinar, we will be posting a tech support number in the Zoom representative will assist you. So now to get things started. Today is on March 22nd, World Water Day. We celebrate water and raise awareness of the global water crisis. A core focus of the observance is to support the achievement of Sustainable Development Goal number 6, which is water and sanitation for all by 2030. Since 2017, Habitat for Humanity Canada has supported Habitat for Humanity Haiti's water sanitation and hygiene program in Simon-Pelé. I am very happy to introduce our colleague Isabel Vasquez joining us today, who will share with us some of the work that was done in 2020 and over the course of the partnership. So Isabel, over to you.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I wanted to thank everyone for joining. Thank you to Habitat Canada, first off, for inviting us to do this presentation. So as Carla mentioned, today is World Water Day, and we will be discussing the Habitat for Humanity project in Simon-Pelé. And here's an overview of our presentation. So we will be discussing the history of Habitat Haiti, the importance of the WASH program, and our partnership with Habitat Canada, and future priorities. So my name is Isabel Vasquez, and I am the Canadian lead. I joined the team in February of 2020, and it has been an incredible experience to work with an amazing and thoughtful team here in Haiti with our various projects and programs, especially our clean water and sanitation endeavors, and at Habitat for Generosity, which have made these projects possible. So Habitat for Humanity Haiti's history is that it was founded in 1984, and it's dedicated to the long-term development and sustainability of Haiti's low-income housing sector and moving families along their pathway to permanent and durable housing. Access to adequate and affordable housing has been a long-standing challenge in Haiti, and it has been made worse by repetitive natural disasters. Haiti requires an estimated 700,000 additional housing units just to meet the pre-2007 earthquake housing situation. Habitat Haiti understands that safe and healthy housing contributes to social, psychological, and economic stability of neighborhoods and provides family a place to develop, learn, and thrive. Habitat Haiti has supported over 60,000 families through programs focused on disaster response, risk reduction, land tenure, water and sanitation, urban upgrading, and capacity building. and the importance of wash in Haiti. Haiti has one of the lowest rates of access to water and sanitation infrastructure in the Western Hemisphere. And access to adequate water and sanitation facilities are key to lasting development and are considered an essential component to basic health services. Sound hygiene practices can prevent infection and the spread of disease within vulnerable populations. Haiti's National Water and Sanitation Agency, the National Directorate of Potable Water and Sanitation, known as DINEPA, lacks the resources and capacity to adequately provide the full mandate of services to the country. And in Haiti, many people walk miles to access clean water, which they then store in buckets and gallons. Habitat Haiti uses awareness campaigns to educate the population on proper water storage and sanitation techniques. This is the key to prevent the spread of disease, such as cholera, and more recently, obviously, COVID-19. And this is one of the water dispensaries that is offered by DINEPA. So people go with their gallons or their jugs and fill up their water gallon and then bring this back home. Now, through our partnership with Habitat Canada, Habitat Haiti has worked in schools in Simon-Pelé to renovate latrines and provide hand washing stations and access to clean water. Habitat Haiti teaches students proper sanitation practices, including hand washing and water purification. And the key was that we figured that by focusing on the children, Habitat Haiti intervenes where students are more adaptable and they can implement these new techniques in their households. And the students can bring lessons home to evoke change on the household level. And the photo here is one of our hand washing stations that we installed at a school in Simon-Pelé. And Simon-Pelé is a volatile, low-income slum located within Port-au-Prince. And Habitat Haiti has worked in Simon-Pelé since 2010 and is currently the only nonprofit organization offering wash services to the community, or even any services, because of the security situation at Simon-Pelé at the moment, which has been ongoing for, I would say, about maybe 2 years. Most NGOs do not go into the Simon-Pelé area anymore. So we are the only NGO left in Simon-Pelé. And official regulations require separate toilets for boys and girls. And there should be a stall for every 25 girls and a stall and a urinal for every 50 boys. These must be equipped with obviously toilet paper, soap, and fresh water and cleaning supplies, and must be more than 30 meters from the building. DINEPA and the Ministry of Education standards require hygiene training to be implemented into students' curriculum each year. In most schools, this is a neglected teaching and neglected addition. So here are some of our details and accomplishments with the WASH project in Simon-Pelé. We have invested in 17 schools, 10 in 2018 and 7 in 2020. Provided hygiene and sanitation training and awareness were provided to over 3,000 students. And we worked within schools to develop hygiene clubs and hygiene curriculum for the teachers. And hygiene kits were distributed and water products. And as well, we distributed menstrual hygiene sanitation that young ladies will miss school due to menstruation. So we provided kits for that as well. And recently we pivoted our programming this year to include community awareness on the prevention of COVID-19. And we provided youth professional training opportunities for, we focused mostly on women. Well, we try to have at least 30% women in every project to provide training to help people gain jobs, including sewing to make clothes and help them join the job market. And these are infographic posters that similar to this that we leave in all the schools that were made and provided to all the schools that we have worked with on proper sanitation measures and improper ways of storing water and sanitation. And these students they took part in our hygiene club. And the project also had an environmental component, teaching kids how to sort trash between organic and recyclable components. And the students were taught how to repurpose organic waste for composting, which they use for fertilizer for the school's plants. That was a little project that we had them come up with. And the students were given seminars as well on repurposing and upcycling waste, plastic waste into arts and handicrafts projects. And so this is the composting and recycling seminar where the students were really happy to. And these are kind of just before and after photos of what was there in terms of sanitation. If you look all the way to the left where there's the green fabric. And so that's what we replaced with a proper hand washing station and a proper sanitation block. And for future priorities in Simon-Pelé, we continue to provide access to water and sanitation, both in Simon-Pelé and in priority communities. And we continue our strategic, and if you want to get involved and for more information, you could visit habitathaiti.org and find us on Facebook at Habitat Haiti or on Instagram at Habitat for Humanity Haiti, and sign up for our quarterly newsletter on our website. And so thank you once again for your support. And if you have any questions, my email address is provided here. And I think I ran through this a little quickly. But if you have any questions, feel free to ask.
Thank you, Anna, or Isabel, I'm so sorry. We have someone that's asking, can you go back one slide for the resources, please? Isabel?
Sorry.
Yeah, if you're just able to, so where they can see, yes, where they can get involved.
Right here, sorry.
Yeah. Thank you. Yes, we definitely recommend to please visit Habitat Haiti's website. You can learn more about the incredible work that is being done. And we're very fortunate also to be joined on the call from by some other staff from Habitat for Humanity Haiti. This is a tremendous partnership that Habitat Canada has been able to do alongside Habitat Haiti for a number of years now. And it's truly been a phenomenal learning experience and one that we really value. So thank you, Isabel, for taking the time to share about some of the work that was done in the most recent years. If there are any questions, please feel free to enter them in the chat box. If not, you can also unmute yourself and ask them. I did have a couple of questions that I will ask as the facilitator, but I think one of the very interesting things that you highlighted, Isabel, is the fact that Habitat for Humanity Haiti is one of the only NGOs working in Simon-Pelé. And so I was just wondering if you could speak a little bit more as to what kind of relationship has that been with the community, especially knowing that Habitat Haiti, you know, there are so many challenges being faced on a daily from political and risk management standpoint. What has it been like to build that kind of relationship from Habitat perspective with the communities that you work in?
Because we have been there for quite a while, we do have a good rapport with the community. When I go and visit, sometimes I usually wear a Habitat t-shirt so that they know that who I'm here to represent. And there are still people who, one of our colleagues, Barthélemy Leon, he worked there for quite a bit of time, but not on the sanitation front, but more on doing paving on the floor. And there are still people who see me and they're like, wait, tell Monsieur Butt that I said hello. So I think the people of Simon-Pelé recognize that Habitat is devoted to helping improve their quality of life. And so this often shows when, if I go and visit for photos, they'll mention a past project that we worked on, and there's a lot of gratitude. So it's pretty, the relationship with the community itself is very rewarding, I would say.
That's really great to hear. And again, I think it's incredible that over the years there's been able to build that relationship together. One of the other things, and this is typically a little bit different than we see, is that working with youth and schools. And so I was just wondering if you could explain or elaborate a little bit more on what the general feedback that you've seen through the collaboration of this project. There is that big education component of hoping that students and youth are able to bring these teachings home, and it creates a greater impact on a community. But in terms of the work that has been done in these schools, what is that general feedback that you've received from the students that have been receiving WASH training and support?
Well, the feedback, I would say WASH training in Haiti is incredibly important because well, after the 2010 earthquake, for example, there was this huge outbreak of cholera. And so if people are unaware of how to properly treat water before drinking it, it could even be potentially deadly in Haiti. So we have seen quite a reduction of waterborne diseases. And once people are educated and made aware of better ways to help treat the water and things that you should and should not do, which is why we have those infographics in the classrooms, just to kind of have a quick explainer of just, even if you used to do things a certain way, try to kind of retrain your brain to do it differently and to add chlor tabs to the water if it's going to be for drinking, or to boil it. And just, it's really kind of life-saving information really in Haiti.
Yeah, and yes, and so I presume then that the schools have also been very receptive to Habitat doing this work alongside with them.
Yes, very. We've had, the last time I was there was a principal from a different school who wanted us to come and do the same at his school as well. So people have been very receptive. The principal that I spoke to for the school that I visited, he was very thankful for the program because they didn't have the resources to do it themselves. So it has been kind of a boon up to the community.
That's great. Thank you, Isabel. I don't know if there's any questions, comments, or if anyone from Habitat Haiti that's on the call as well have anything they would like to add on. Just give it a couple of seconds.
May I?
Yes, of course.
I just would like to highlight how we appreciate this partnership with Habitat Canada, because it's really allowing us to make huge impact at the community, especially in Simon-Pelé, at school level, but also at the household level, because the overall strategy is to use the school as an entry point, so we can be able to influence behavior in relation to water and sanitation at the household level. And all the assessment and the feedback you'll be receiving is that the project is really making changes, is making impact at the community level, to the point that, as Isabel just pointed out, we're receiving a lot of demands to do similar things in schools in some of the areas, but unfortunately, the resource we have available does not allow us to really respond to all the demands that we're receiving, not just at Simon-Pelé, but some other communities also want us to do the same. So we just extended our project to Canaan, which is about, I would say, 25 kilometers from Simon-Pelé, because people really see what we are doing in Simon-Pelé. They appreciate it. They wanted us to replicate the same project at the community. And it's also somewhat influencing our WASH activity, because we feel now more confident with the skills, with the ability to go. And we just started our first wash intervention in a rural community, not in Port-au-Prince, but in a rural community. So the support that we are receiving from Habitat Canada, the support we are receiving from our affiliates really allow us to continue working in Simon-Pelé, but also to some extent reach out to more community and more households.
Thank you, Aruna. And for those on the call, Aruna is the project manager, and thank you for sharing that, because ultimately, you know, that is what we want to achieve through these collaborations. It doesn't have to be limited to a project, but it's sustainability long-term in the communities that Habitat Haiti works in, and we're very happy to just be part of that process. So thank you so much for sharing that. We did receive Julia, I'm just going to read one quick question and then I'll hand it over to you. Barbara is wondering where the hygiene kits come from. She works with the Days for Girls, who make reusable kits and they distribute them throughout the world. So I guess Isabel or Aruna or Anna, if you could share just a little bit more, what is the process of creating the hygiene kits, if there's a partner that Habitat for Humanity Haiti works with?
Most of the items in the kits were purchased locally. And so that's the easiest way to source them and get them to Simon-Pelé. So we don't have a partnership at the moment to provide us with kits, but we just put together a list of things that were most needed, most required, and that's usually chlor tabs to purify the water. And so everything was pretty much just purchased locally and put together, into a little kit and delivered that way. And the bags also were waterproof, so they could be used for water storage as well.
Perfect, thank you. Julia?
Hi, thank you so much for sharing this with us. Just wondering, for as kindred spirits in Habitat, it's been a hard year for us in Canada with so many of the things we normally do, stopped or delayed with COVID. And you had already dealt with many challenges before this year. Can you just talk about what it feels like to do this work and what you're seeing with people doing this kind of work in your country right now?
In Haiti, we have the unfortunate luck, I suppose, of having to shut down prior to the COVID-19 situation, where it was just because of security issues and instability, where we kind of have unofficial lockdowns. And so it was a bit easier for us, I think, to kind of adapt to a post-COVID world where we were all sent home to work from home and not really able to get around as much. So in that sense, we were able to continue to function almost normally, I would say fairly quickly, but it has had obviously its challenges. We couldn't move around as much at first to go visit the sites, our construction sites and other areas, but eventually some measures were pulled back, so that made it easier. But of course, it's been an incredibly trying year, I think, for pretty much the world over, but we've adapted to it as best we could and tried to continue. I know we had 11 houses that were being built, not within this project, but just within the greater context in the northwest of Haiti, and we didn't want to stop the work there. So we had to keep at first of March of last year, keep going and finish those 11 houses for those 11 families, because we felt that was pretty much essential work. So it's just kind of shifting our priorities and really focusing on what was really important and absolutely had to be done, especially within the context of COVID, providing awareness to people and providing hand washing stations to really keep keep hygiene in mind to prevent the spread of diseases is has been kind of a shift in focus. But it's been a trying time, but really also kind of rewarding, I suppose, to see how you can build resilience and persevere.
Well, good for you. And I imagine, like Canada, there are a lot of charities that are suffering and closing. So to be doing the important work you're doing right now it's just really great to hear. Thank you.
Thank you, Julia. We did have another question. So Alan and Gail asking, are there any opportunities for individuals in Canada to support Habitat for Humanity Haiti's work? Or is this just a national office relationship? Have there or will there be any GV teams allowed to volunteer there? At this moment, the best way that you could support this partnership would be to donate to our international programs. Due to safety and security reasons for time, we have not sent GV volunteer to Haiti. And I think as Habitat for Humanity Haiti can also speak to, you know, it's definitely the best way we can support is through funding. It is the best way that we can allow them and support them to continue the great work that they're already doing. So I hope that answers the question.
Yes, I would say as well, we haven't been accepting volunteers as of late. And I think on the Habitat International level, because of COVID, travel is restricted, highly recommended. So we don't really accept, we have not been able to accept volunteers for a few years right now. But once we did start a volunteer outreach program. And once that is made possible again, we will, if you sign up for our newsletter, send out, reach out and let people know when that's possible again.
Thank you, Isabel. Are there any other additional questions, comments? We're almost at time here, but I just want to double check. I think that is all. So I would like to thank Isabel, Aruna. Thank you so much for joining us today and sharing some of the incredible work that Habitat for Humanity Haiti continues to do on a daily basis. Thank you everyone for joining us today to learn about this work as well. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to us at any time. And we will continue to keep you informed of the great progress that we continue to do. So thank you all for joining us today.
Thank you for outstanding support we are receiving for Habitat Canada and all our affiliates.
And thank you so much for extending this invitation to us and allowing us to discuss our project with all of you that joined us today. Thank you.
Thank you. It is truly a pleasure for all of us to attend here and to learn more. So thank you both so much. And I wish you all an amazing rest of the day. And again, this will be posted on the website later this week. So make sure to check it out then. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Have a good day, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.